Hey folks, home again, back at the piano, and I had something really interesting come up today. I was talking to a student, and as it often goes, we started just kind of like, we were talking about piano originally, but then it kind of turned into a larger conversation because I was reflecting on something that happened on the master class where Madeline talked about this not idea, but this an aspect of studying music is the lineage that we've kind of studied with, like who our teachers are, who their teachers are, and as we, especially in the classical realm, but also to some extent in jazz, who we study with, whom did we study with, and whom did they study with, and like Madeline talked about, she has lines of her teachers going all the way back to Mozart, going all the way back to Beethoven, going all the way back to Chopin. So Chopin taught somebody who taught somebody who taught somebody, etc., until that person taught Madeline. And that's an incredible lineage to hold. It's a remarkable lineage to hold. And as a classical musician especially, because we're studying music, we're literally studying Mozart's music, Chopin's music, Beethoven's music. So it's really kind of a significant thing to know that we studied with somebody who there's a direct line, so to speak, to the person who created this music and, some of the all-time greatest composers, musicians in the world. So I was kind of reflecting on that and thinking about how that feels for me. I've never been so invested in the study of classical music just on its own for me to be hyper conscious of that lineage, but I'm still well aware of like some of the great people I've studied with and who they studied with and what that kind of entails, that whole lineage entails. But I was talking to a student and we were just reflecting on what I guess I was kind of like comparing that way of thinking and that way of evolving, this idea of holding a lineage, with what I would kind of consider a more American contemporary spirituality approach, which is oftentimes there's an emphasis on the moment, the present moment. I've talked about this a lot in my own posts, being here now. I said, I think I did a post a week or so ago talking about the present moment is the unity between the immanence of the world, the in-the-worldness of the world, and the transcendence of the world, the aspect of reality, the consciousness, the frame within which all of reality is happening. Those two elements, those two polarities, the immanence and the transcendence of existence, are unified in the present moment. And in that present moment, we're perfectly free from anything that's ever happened in the past. Completely liberated from it. Nothing is determinative about what has happened before. What has happened before literally doesn't exist. All that exists is this moment. And the infinite possibility of the transcendent consciousness and the infinite possibility of what is actually here. And so I take that, that's a perspective that I spend a lot of time in, and that's a perspective that I find very attractive. It's where I live. But then there's this other aspect, and this goes as much for spiritual traditions as it does for musical traditions. Some people have studied for their entire life with a master of a certain tradition, Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, whatever. There are these deep, long traditions that sometimes span millennia And that's also, there's a value in that, and there's a deep, deep kind of power and groundedness that comes from that. And I witness it in people. I witness it in people, and it's like there's a security. There's a security that comes with that, and there's a sense of holding a tradition and passing on wisdom. Evolution is the capturing. Evolution is continually integrating, digesting and integrating past information and synthesizing it into the possibilities of right now. So I think this was all just kind of coming out of me as I was talking to a student, and she was also, we're both kind of like just investigating what this kind of, where this takes us, where this thought process takes us. And I think what I find really interesting about it, and what I find really potentially really important and vital right now, like as Americans right now, we have a kind of, there's a sense that that we're a little bit torn apart. We're a little bit unable to reconcile the polarities that our country clearly contains. You know, no matter what side of the kind of cultural divide we're on, there's no denying that we are that the other side exists, right? And so I think what's coming through for me is just a sense of really deeply wanting to appreciate both of these aspects of the spiritual journey, both of these aspects of reality. Finding a way to know that both these things are true, to hold these polarities, and to be at peace with the fact that all of this is true. All of this, the transcendent and the immanent, the past and the future, the past and the freedom from the past, they're all true. They're all real. They're all here. They're all part of this. And like finding a way of digesting all that is, I think, where I'm putting my focus right now, because it feels so vital. Not just, it's the kind of thing that feels very important to me as an individual in my own spiritual journey, to take this moment, this moment where I am seriously, and to continue building on the past, but also to, at a moment's notice, be willing to completely let go of anything in the past that's not serving me. And also at the same time, have a respect and an appreciation for what I am, for the shoulders that I'm standing on, and the information, what my lineage actually is. What my lineage holds dear over time, what stays true over time, where that is taking me, and trying to find a way to keep that all in my awareness, and also all moving forward and taking the next step. That's kind of where my reflection is right now. this vibration just kind of takes me somewhere. I think that's where I am today, people. Thanks for listening. I feel like what I'm saying today is kind of evolving, so I suspect it'll come out again. That's a set of principles that I feel like I'm often working with and hoping to build some depth with and create a deeper understanding with. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you all so much, so much. Much love to you. Have a wonderful day. I will see you tomorrow.